Having troubles using TV guided weapons? Here is a full guide on how to use them. Hello guys, once again, it's Matt. Thank you all the members of the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So, quick recap, remember that TV guided weaponry are fire and forget. It means that you can fire and literally forget about the weapon itself until it hits, right? They use an imaging system, being a normal one, or an infrared one, being thermal of course, to lock a target, and once you fire, there is no turning back. So the preparation for the launch is the key in any of the TV guided weapons that we're going to talk about. In the game we have two types, the TV guided missiles and the TV guided bombs. They work in the same way in the guidance system. The main difference is the propulsion, that some of the bombs don't have it and all the missiles have it, right? I'm gonna show to you how to use them in third person and first person, because they added an actual way of properly doing that in third person, and with the keybinds when they are needed. TV guided weapons are literally used by every single nation in the game at some point in the tech tree, so yeah, let's start with the missiles. TV guided missiles are pretty easy to use. The advantage of them is maintaining the distance between the target and you, especially AA systems, and it's a pretty much just lock and launch kind of situation. So for third person, which is a more common way right now to actually use these missiles, you need to do four things. Position yourself in the battlefield. Try to maintain a good distance between you and the AA systems, for example, while trying to help the missile aerodynamically, so basically point the aircraft to the general direction of the battlefield. That's the first step. Once you've done that, find a target. This means find a target that it's not going to hide itself easily after the missile is launched, since these missiles, they lose the lock very easily if something gets in the way of the sensor, right? A building, a tree, or something like that. Remember, they do have an ability of reacquiring the lock, but the target must pass over the position where the sensor locked after it lost the lock. So it's best just to try avoiding targets that are easily decoyed by a building or something, right? Missiles that have an INS, an inertial navigation systems like the KH-38, will have more chances of reacquiring the lock, since other missiles can just self-explode after losing the lock, while it will actually continue to go to the last location known for the target, from the target, and they will even try to maintain the turn if the target was actually moving. So it's pretty amazing actually, the KH-38. So now what? You found the target, now it's time to lock it before launch. You do need some keybinds to do it. So the first one that you need is weapon lock air to ground, basically button, right? To activate the sensor search of the missile. You will notice that it has basically a square, or an orange square on the screen. And click again the same button to make the sensor lock in the target you want, pointing to that target. You will notice that a cross forming when you are trying to lock. If the missile locks in a target that you don't want, or just the ground for example, you click the same button, weapon lock air to ground again, and restart the sensor, and then click a second time to try to reacquire that cross on the target you want. Only fire the missile once you have that cross on the target that you want. It takes a little bit of practice, but it is very easy once you get it right. So now you have the lock, you are in the right place, you just have to click the fire secondary weapons button, or if you are not using the selection system, fire air to ground missile button to fire the missile. By default these have different buttons from what I'm showing, but these are the buttons that I use. You will notice that the cross will disappear and the missile will go to the target. After you shot the missile, you can just redo the steps to actually shoot again in another target. And that's pretty much it. You can click the tracking camera bomb torpedo button to check where the missile is going. And if it's tracking properly, if done correctly in the parameters of the missiles, always remember that, range, turning capability, everything like that, the missile will hit the target. You can do the same procedure in the first person as well, but before getting to the first person, I would suggest you clicking the sight stabilization button while aiming to the general direction of the battlefield to make the TV pod that you are using basically look into that general direction of a battlefield, right? After that, click the button toggle view to actually change the first person view. And basically now you can even change to an NVD mode or a thermal mode if you click the switch NVD mode button as well if necessary. And the rest will be basically the same. You will find a target that's suitable to you looking in that camera that you have. This might take a little bit of practice. After that, you lock it with the same buttons that we are using before and shoot the missile. It's very easy, again, the same buttons as the first person. As for bombs, they are pretty much the same, but they have a little bit of a difference. You need to drop them in a way that they will have the energy to get to the target. Remember, most of them, apart from the PGM, that technically is a bomb, normally they don't have a self-propelling system, right? So basically you need to have the energy to drop those bombs. So you do basically the same as you did before. The main thing is that you use a different button to get the lock. For some reason the button that you used before doesn't work for bombs. So basically the button that you need to use here is the fire secondary button to actually get the lock itself, or drop the bomb, you know, the button to drop the bomb, the guided bomb as well. One of those you will already automatically lock to the target. Once you have that, you have to choose between CCIP and CCRP to drop the bomb, but remember, you have to have the lock onto the target first. You can always just guess, but I wouldn't advise you guys to. All the vehicles normally have a system that you can actually use to drop in CCRP or CCRP. Also, use these systems and you will be a lot more successful. The CCIP is the normal big marker on the ground. After lock the target, put the cross in the middle, the circle cross or whatever you want to call it, in the general direction of the locked target that will be appearing on the screen, and you basically drop the bomb with the button that is basically the same as before, drop secondary weapon, fire secondary weapon, right? Or the drop guided bomb button as well, one of those. For CCRP, it's a little bit different and a little bit more complex, so I wouldn't advise you guys to use this if you are a new player using these weapons, but you can do it as well. Basically, the CCRP is a mode to basically not make you have to dive to drop the bomb. So we'll click the sight stabilization button from before that we talked about, aiming like in a general direction where the target is. Maybe you will have to point the nose to the target, depends on the aircraft. But after that, after you click that button, a vertical line will appear with a small circle and a little horizontal line. Basically, you just point the aircraft leveled to the vertical line and wait for the little horizontal line to meet with the little circle. When they both meet, you again click the button to release the bomb, and the rest the bomb will do it for you. The bomb is a little bit more dangerous since you need to be closer to the target normally. A little note here is that you always use in any guided bomb the 0.0 time delay fuse at the start of the match to prevent you from making the bomb reach the ground and exploding after the target moved, for example, because of the delayed fuse that you had in a normal bomb setting. This is very, very important, so don't forget that. And that's pretty much it, guys. There's nothing else that I can show to you guys but tactics, to be honest. Be careful out there, you know, you can try to do some tactics, flying away, as I said, side climbing in a normal ground match. Stuff like that is always helpful. And if you still don't have any luck doing this type of launch, remember, Gaijin actually added multiple tutorials for any type of weapon in the game. It really does help. It is very straightforward and more than the video, but still I think it's good to know that we have that. Okay guys, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe and let me know what else you want to see in the channel in the comments down below. See ya guys, bye, subscribe.